Hey everybody, I've got a Ibanez George Benson 10 here. This guitar actually felt pretty good after I purchased it as a second owner. The frets were in pretty good shape. There was a little bit of challenge playing in the higher frets. And when I had such good results with the FretMaestro, I wondered if I really could get away with just using the FretFixxer, which is purportedly used for spot dressing certain frets that might be high. And I thought that this guitar was a good candidate for that. So I purchased that tool from Six Stringers. I wrote the owner. We had an email correspondence regarding its proper use, and I had told him about my good experience with the Maestro, and I bought the Omni Maestro. But with the FretFixxer, would it be a good candidate for this particular guitar? And yes, it should do a great job. He gave me very comprehensive procedure. They have a couple of videos. He's answered my questions very responsively and quickly. And so I got to work on this guitar, and I want to show you that on the bench of how I actually use the instrument. It came out really good. So the evenness and the playability all over the neck is just super easy to play. Really up and down. Yeah, it's really came out very nicely. I would like to show you what I did exactly on it, and I like to check all the frets with the rocker to see which ones are high. We'll show you which frets I actually did address to get it playing this well. So let's go check it out. Okay, we've got this George Benson GB10 on the bench. Strings are off to the side there, and I am checking the height of the various frets with the rocker. And as I determine which frets are high, I'm going to mark them with a Sharpie. So in this case, I saw that that second fret is high, so it gets marked. And then we can continue down any other frets. As I said in the intro, this guitar is in pretty good shape, but you know it wasn't perfect. So the FretFixxer, now you can see this solid steel, hunk of steel here, with the 4 sides and the conical diamond file. This will allow you to basically address any of the frets all up and down the fretboard. So I'm using the section there that spans 3 frets. I'm using the enclosed handle. I'm squeezing that handle with my index finger so that it doesn't drop off. You just saw a little drop there earlier. You want to be careful with that. I hope they can address that maybe in a future release. But you could use it without the handle if you wish. And what I'm doing is I'm just simply using the 2 outside frets as the base height that I want the middle fret to be. And I'm going to file until I'm going to check it often and file it the way the dust. Notice that I'm not using the glide strip. That's with the FretMaestro. That's a much more involved process. It's in my other video. But this gets you up and playing pretty darn quick. Just address the high frets. If you have 1, 2, or 3 frets, that's what this tool is really designed for. Get you back up and running as soon as possible. You really can't mess up. The main focus here is standing upright over the FretFixxer and not angling the tool either left or right. You want to be dead on, back and forth. This is also a tool that you want to be cognizant that you're giving the same amount of pressure all throughout the length of the fret. And you're letting the tool do the work. But look how fast I'm getting down to a level fret. I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm always checking. Every time I reapply the tool, I'm always checking that in this case, I've got that 3 fret span. That's a concern, I guess, I would say, as you go across the board and the frets get more closer together. You want to make sure that you're using the side of the tool that spans just 3 frets, no more. And I'm letting the tool do the work. And you can feel when you're bottoming out, essentially. You're feeling the tool just not grabbing any more metal. But that's a big difference right there. That's fret number 2. And I'm happy with it. So, okay. At this point, I'm going to polish, and I'm going to show you this. This is the work I would do on any fret that I'm working on. So in the other video, I use masking tape, but I also like these tools you can get from Music Nomad, I believe it is, 3 fret guards that let you handle. You might want both hands free, and then you can just use blue tape. But you've got to polish the frets after you've got your fret level. With FretFixxer, go ahead and start polishing the fret. So the fret eraser is what I really like. There's 3 grits. I think this is the 150, the coarsest. This is getting out the little scrapes you see from using diamond file on these nickel frets. There's the second grit. That's a 300. That'll remove a little bit more, and then I finish off with, I believe it's a 1200. I'm showing you this 1 fret procedure from beginning to end. I would do this on any other uneven frets up the length of the fretboard. And so I'm going to go ahead and polish just a little further with the wet dry sandpaper. I like them as silky as I can get them, so I sometimes finish off with 1200 grit. So here I'm using a little rubbing alcohol just to get some dirt and gunk off of the edges of the frets. Ibanez does a pretty good job here, but I do have some pinging when I tune this G string. So I'm going to file that slot just a little wider and open it up on the headstock side, a little flared, since there's more tension on the G and D string. And we'll see if that fixes that. So knock it all out while the strings are down. Here's the D string nut slot. We're going to file that down just a bit. And I think it's time for oiling. I use Furniture lemon oil. Does a great job, especially on rosewood and ebony. We'll work that in. I have this other cool little fan. I actually use this on my saxophones for drying pads after playing. I'm enjoying use on the guitar too. So I'm going to just accelerate the process here a little bit. And that's it. Between the FretFixxer and the FretMaestro, there isn't a guitar that won't play better as a result of using them. I'm showing you this 1 fret procedure from beginning to end. I would do this on any other uneven frets up the length of the fretboard. If you've got a really diverse set of measurements or a rocking on virtually every fret, then the job is probably better left to the FretMaestro, which is in my other video. That's a complete job. All 21 frets were addressed. I've done that on almost a dozen guitars now. And this guitar just plays and sounds great. Hope you enjoy the video, and I can highly recommend FretFixxer. Thank you.